Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today, let's talk The Walking Dead Q&A 93. Before we get into the questions, I do want to let you guys know that I'm trying to open up the possibility that I can put out like a daily Walking Dead Q&A Monday through Friday. Up until the premiere of Season 7. If that's something you're interested in, let me know down in that comment box or smash that like button so that way I can see that a lot of people are interested. The reason why I'm offering to do a marathon of Q&As is because I sat down to pick out the best questions for this Q&A. And after about like 2 hours and 20 minutes, I said, okay, you know what? I can't read through anymore. Let me just skim what's left. There's got to be just a few left, you know? Just in case there's a really good question hidden, I try to read as many as I can. And I'm also answering comments and things like that. And I started scrolling and it just did not stop. So with that said, there's so many questions. If you guys are interested, this might open up the possibility that we can saturate it, you know, and answer as many questions as possible. Now, this weekend, I got a lot going on, so there might be a day or two where I don't post a video. But when we come back next week, if I get it situated correctly, starting in the middle of the week, I can announce something and then roll out a Q&A every day, Monday through Friday, up until the premiere. Let me know, and if you're new here, look for the rules. That sounds like such a shitty thing, way to put it. Look for the best way to participate, which are the rules, down in that video description. No more stalling. Let's get right into the first question. Jack Frankie, do you think the mid-season finale could be the survivors' failed assassination attempt on Negan outside the gates of Alexandria? The mid-season finale? I think that's too soon. Way too soon. Aaron 80s rocked. I don't think the show will spend all season of Season 7 with Rick Grimes and the group bending under Negan's rule. Do you think we could at least get the beginning plan of all-out war before 7 wraps, or possibly that it will start and move over into 8? This is difficult because locking down or zeroing in on the all-out war moment is tricky because there's something that Rick Grimes does that snowballs into all-out war essentially, and he does this immediately after Negan's introduction. In the comic, Negan kills Glenn. You guys probably already know this. As soon as he's done, the moment he's done, Rick has it in his mind. That is the beginning. That will snowball into all-out war. So, it's difficult because at that point, yes, it snowballs. Then it gets to a point right before all-out war in the comic. Technically, Rick does something. That something is almost irreversible. Now, there could have been a way to come out of it, probably, but one of them would have died again. You know, Negan, and here's something I think TV fans or some comic fans don't realize, there is a potential for 2 lineups. The premiere and maybe towards the end. And if they wanted to come full circle, they could actually do a lineup for the premiere and another lineup which would be what you're talking about, the failed assassination attempt in the midseason. They could do that for the finale of Season 7. And I think that's pretty powerful if you work it right, because I do think that there's a lot of material that goes into this before All Out War to flesh it out for TV and to make it more realistic. So with that said, the whole season should be about overthrowing this dictator, so to speak, but doing it in a way where we unite the communities. But also, they got to introduce these communities. You know, they got to flesh them out. They got to make us care. They got to do it in a way where it doesn't feel rushed or forced or unrealistic in the framework of the world they've already built. You know what I mean? So, I think that the majority of Season 7 will be, in fact, Negan's world. Absolutely. Definitely the first half, without a doubt. The second half, we should start seeing more friction entered into the story. Spy sapping my teleporter. What the hell? Do you think Rick will outlive Carl? TV show, yes. Guaranteed almost. Comic book, no. I believe Carl will take over the storyline eventually. Brian Akiem, if Season 9 introduces the Whispers, how do you feel if it ends like the shocking issue 144? Season 9. No, I think they should definitely flesh out the Whispers on the TV show, and I do believe this is the very first time, possibly, in entertainment history, in the zombie genre, that we can actually show people living in a zombie apocalypse. And what I mean by that, and don't give me any bullshit excuses like Resident Evil or other shows like that. Listen, they're doing some weed whacking and shit. I can't help it. I'm gonna power through this. Hopefully you can't hear that really loud, because for me right now it's loud. But I got a lot of shit to prep for over the weekend, and I think it's not a good idea to go out and render him unconscious and then come back and do the video. So we're gonna move through this. Now, as far as the Whispers, fleshing them out for TV, and the new beginning being something that they could, for the first time, do in a zombie genre in a wonderful way with great story. It's showing people living and existing like a return to normalcy as best they can in that world. And correct me if I'm wrong, but we've never seen this before. Now, don't take that the wrong way and pick like a movie like Mad Max, where it's like this post-apocalyptic wasteland, or Resident Evil. That shit is not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about people in bunkers or shitty environments. I'm talking about they have a fair, they have trade routes, there's open communication, there's different communities, multiple different communities. They are living in a post-modern world that is in ruins, but they're living like back in the olden days. You know what I mean? They have a mill, they're making bread, they're growing crops, they're traveling, they're exploring. It is a new frontier out there. You know what I'm saying? It's like taking out modern technology and then living like you did back in the day, but still having the ruins of the old world with that modern technology shit. I'm talking about our world now. I don't know if I'm verbalizing that enough, but that gets me hard. Let's move it along, people. We are going to come back to this, but this is tricky because, no, I do not believe they should, make it or stretch it out that long for a whole season. But in the same strength, I do believe there is a definite need to refresh the TV show in this story and, flesh it out. Fill it out. I don't want to say fill or stretch it out, but in a way I kind of mean that. Open this world up, show it to us, but then put that little creepy element in the first episode. Something isn't right. The second episode, show us the world again with some problems, some conflicts, some going on with the leaders, and work through that. It's entertaining story, but then give us that little creepy tidbit and let that simmer for the first half. And then with the mid-season finale, explode that simmer with a massive, creepy, disturbing reveal. I think that is, way too long. They'll probably do the reveal for the Whispers in like 3 or 4 episodes, but I believe they should stretch it out in that case, because sometimes the longer it simmers, the more powerful that punch is, Moving on. Luke Brumfield, Lukester36. Why does AMC do such a bad job with keeping spoilers? They've let so many things slide out, it's crazy. Alright, I'm not going to blame AMC for all the spoilers. You have to understand, I do blame them for some. I personally believe they leaked Carol being taken where Beth was. I personally believe they leaked that because they were worried Beth's character alone wouldn't bring in enough ratings, so they leaked Carol's scene that way to attract more people. I strongly believe that. I do believe they leaked the cliffhanger, and that's definitely a leak. It has to be, because somebody recorded that off a monitor that they were filming. So I'm just going to call bullshit on that. They leaked that, I feel, to gauge the audience's response and to see how they can do damage control. Whatever reason they leaked it. But I'm not going to blame them totally, because we have to understand there's so many ways nowadays for spoilers to leak out. I love Greg Nicotero's recent interview where he said it straight up, but I love that he came right out and said it. He said, we have to protect it the best we can. It's their job to spoil the show, to ruin the show, essentially. And I fucking guarantee you, now listen, if you're into spoilers, you look at it and you walk away, that's fine. I ain't mad at you. I don't hate you. I'm not mad at you. I don't understand it, personally. When I like a show, I'll be damned if I look at spoilers, but when I'm not really interested, I can look at spoilers. So I kind of feel deep down inside, the people who look at spoilers aren't that, but I only feel that way because I don't understand it. But I will say there are people definitely on the internet that are benefiting financially solely off spilling spoilers. Now, I can say that without being a dick because, I'm so far out of the spoiler community that I don't know anyone by name. I don't know any individual channels on YouTube. I don't know any individual sites besides a couple spoiler sites. And I don't even know if the ones I know of benefit financially. I'm sure they do if they're big enough. But you have to understand, I agree 100% with that statement. If you benefit financially off of ruining the show, fuck you. I do not count you as a fan. If you're just into spoilers, that's fine. But I'm telling you right now, if you benefit and gain money by ruining the show, massive fuck you, and I don't blame AMC for that. Because if you definitely want to find out, you'll find out. Anyway, let's move on. This is probably going to be a long one. Paul Jesus. Do you think the hilltop is being attacked while Negan is killing one or two of the survivors? If so, do you think Trevor will get captured and remix the Dwight being captured at Alexandria from the comic book? Okay, in the comic, Dwight was captured, yada, yada, yada. That has nothing to do with Dwight, his story, and how that blends later on. I'm trying to stay spoiler free somewhat. I don't need to because it's out there in the open, but in case you haven't heard it, that has nothing to do with Dwight's story and how he interacts with Daryl or the other survivors. It is solely about Jesus tracking the saviors down through Dwight. In my opinion, going back and rereading that, it really doesn't do anything else for the story. So in turn, you don't need that. You don't need it at all. You don't need anyone captured. You can simply, have a meeting and then follow them. You don't need anybody to be captured. Not Trevor, not Dwight, nobody. They could, but you don't need it, in my opinion.